This article is about assessing miracles. It's dealing with the issue of, do you have a problem that miracles might prove too much? That someone might come with miracles and you would be unable to say that they were false unless you had some way of assessing them. Um, and so the Bible does talk about the concept of false miracles, or miracles trying to support false teaching. And so this was known to the Israelites and to the early church. So, what was the mechanism that people had to assess this matter? Well, as I say in my main thesis, modern miracles provides us with the evidence we need to believe that the Bible is true. Jesus, when he was preaching, pointed to miracles as evidence for his teaching being true. And likewise, when Moses was speaking, God confirmed his message by performing miracles. And in all these situations, it's abundantly clear that one of the characteristics of both the time of Moses, the time of Jesus and the apostles, and today is an abundance of modern miracles. It is not just simply a few miracles, it is the extraordinary miracles plus the number of them. And so Jesus said to the Pharisees when they questioned him, he said, well, look, if you look at the miracles I'm doing, Satan's not going to do those miracles because it'd be destroying his kingdom, because I'm basically delivering people from demonic possession on a huge scale. I'm healing people on a huge scale. That's not the work of Satan, because a house divided against itself would not stand. So your first principle, the one that Jesus uses, is what I might call superabundance. Superabundance of miracles. And today's modern miracles are definitely a superabundance of miracles. As Professor Craig Keener says, potentially 200 million plus people have said they've witnessed or experienced miracles. I've identified 125 miracles that have full medical evidence prior to the miracle and medical evidence after the miracle. What's the second criteria? Well, again, this is one which Jesus refers to when he says very clearly, I did not come to overturn the law, but to fulfill it. Why did Jesus have to make that point? Because at first sight, it looked like Jesus was introducing some new teaching. But as Jesus said to the disciples on the way to Emmaus, if you look at the Bible, I have come and fulfilled what the Bible said would happen. And this brings us to the point of what we might call chronological priority. And in Deuteronomy you have this. It's the case of, if a person performs miracles or says that they're a prophet, check out that it's not contradicting prior revelation. So once God has established, usually through mighty miracles, a particular teaching, then any subsequent teaching will have to be consistent with that chronologically prior teaching. So Jesus, when he came, made it very clear that he did not come to overturn the Old Testament, but to fulfill the Old Testament. He was the great fulfiller of prophecies. He was the great sacrifice that paid the price for sin. He was the ultimate sacrifice, you might say, of the whole Jewish sacrificial system. And in fact, the whole Jewish sacrificial system pointed to Jesus. And so he was not in any way overturning the chronologically prior revelation of Moses. And likewise, the modern miracles today don't overturn the chronologically prior revelation of the Bible. They confirm it. Almost all these miracles are taking place in the context of people who firmly believe in the gospel, who firmly believe in the inspiration of the Bible and it being a revelation from God. And in the context of all this, we have these two ways of assessing miracles. Are there a significant number, and are they consistent with the prior revelation that God has given us? And those are two very helpful ways of making sure that if any false prophets arise, doing certain number of miracles, we're not to be led away. We check to see that their teaching is consistent with the prior revelation of the Bible, and we also ask the question, just how many miracles are really taking place here? Is this the sort of number that we're looking for? And I think the clear evidence of modern miracles is that God is graciously confirming the Bible as being his divine revelation to man. And on that basis, we can build our lives, because it's been the testimony of 2,000 years of the church and 2,000 years prior to that of Israel. Well, thank you for listening.